Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another League of Light match. We have one between Kalliga as well as Overcast. I believe these are two players who are relatively new to the scene, so this should be fun. See what decks our new friends are playing here today. I believe they're somewhat new to Octagon too, so we're going to see if we can't help them out with anything they might need. Hope everyone's doing well out there tonight. And thank you for all those who responded positively to the last one, or just responded at all. I appreciate that, and hopefully bring you something brand new here. All right, folks, here we go. Kalliga has taken our first turn. She's going to draw, see what we get. Like I said, they're a little new to Octagon, so I might have to help them out with some of the control. All right, Kalliga is going to discard an Arya 3 backup and a Sildra to play Sarah. Looks like we've got some Warrior of Light action, so I'm instantly rooting for her because Warriors of Light is probably my second favorite deck to play, so forgive me, might be a little biased here, but I do love me some Warriors of Light. Pitched a Sildra and an Arya. I wonder if she's got a pretty good hand to throw out another backup as well as Sildra, which is going to let her search, but she has another copy of Arya. That might have been why she was more than happy to chuck it down. I believe Overcast here said this is actually their very first game of Octagon ever, so let's see if they can get some beginner's luck going on. Throwing out Estinian, one of my absolute favorite legends. Ooh, does this mean we're going to see Dragoons, or is this just something with lightning? Dragoons versus Warriors of Light. Come on, baby. There's the Scholar, and there's a Lulu. This is looking like a Shane Duckworth list. Am I going to see Alice coming down? Yeah, we are. Dragoon, jump. And then that's going to land on the next turn. Alice gives us an instant hit with that Freya, baby. We are set up. He also was willing to throw out two backups for that. Interesting. So, but, I mean, we get it. Putting down that Alice, the sooner you get it down, the sooner you're going to start generating some value. All right, how's Warriors of Light respond? Now, he's got the Alice down, but I imagine he still might take a turn or two to set up. So we'll see if Kalliga opts to take her own time to set up here, if she's going to feel really pressured to start putting out forwards. Very important in Warriors of Light. I'm going to guess this is a fire-water variant. To get some form of fire CP down, you don't want to just be constantly pitching fire cards from hand in order to satisfy those forwards. You really want a backup down that can generate fire. Throwing out Sarah for a Minwoo. So already tossing out two. Man, these two players are not starved for backups. How nice is that? Lord knows I've had plenty of games on here where you can't draw a backup to save your life, so it is not a problem for these two. Minwoo is coming down. I don't know how effective Minwoo will necessarily be against Dragoons, but then again, you know, it could be, especially if Cherry Blossom ends up being a factor. It will require Overcast to get a big enough Cherry Blossom that he's going to have to do it in all one go. He can't use multiple in a single turn because Minwoo's just going to shut that right off. And yeah, we reveal Null. Oof, that's going to be a whiff. Alice is not helping us out today there. Null going right to the break zone. I mean, Alice is such a fun card, and depending on how you design the deck, though, you know, because like in my Dragoon deck too, I have a few off-color ones that you know, aren't Dragoons, and so anytime you hit one of those, you're like, oh no, and it goes right to the break zone. That always feels bad. Interesting, he's got Null in here. Null is fire, so I wonder how he gets this to the field. Does he have a backup that can produce fire, or is it just a matter of putting out another Null? Then again, Null does count as a lightning forward who's a 2-cost, so if he's running Aranea, which Dragoons I'm assuming he is, Aranea can bring Null in for free. That would be pretty nice. Aranea brings in Null. Null's just going to give her haste right away, or Dull 2 Forge. That's kind of the crazy thing about these 2-cost dual element forwards is that, you know, I think of him as lightning fire, but you also got to think of him as just lightning, so he fits Aranea's conditions. He would fit Soul's conditions as well. Gosh, that'd be a great target off of Soul. Or not Soul, Aegis from Warriors of Light. I'm thinking of Soul as who he normally summons. King or Bermesia going to fetch out our special Dragoon. Arguably, you could make an argument that this is the best Dragoon card in this deck because Dragoons really need more stuff like this. Like, they've got the bodies, they've got the haste. That part's good, but to have something come down and say, hey, break that. And it's lovely because it's so tied into a mono Dragoon deck. You'll never get that effect off if you're just casually splashing Dragoons. You've got to specialize into them. But it gives you such a great effect for it. So more cards like this, please. All right, we are dropping a Dusk and another Sarah back up. And she really does not want to play that Sarah out. Well, off the top, hello, we've got some options. 2 copies of our favorite lady. That's Lady Ferris. Not to mention a small Warrior of Light. And could have technically grabbed the other Wool, although that would have been pointless since he's already out. Ferris, be still my beating heart. Kalliga, I love your deck choice here. I'm a huge Warriors of Light fan. Interesting, she didn't tap the backups for that. She's just going to pass. I'm curious why she left those up. Perhaps she has something she wants to do on our opponent's turn. We shall see here. Let's see, what do we discard for that? We discarded another Sarah and a Dusk. All right, now it is Overcast's turn to respond. Let's see what kind of Dragoon time we've got going on. All right, our Alice reveal. What did we get? Woo, we got a Dragoon. So this one, if you control 3 or more, which he counts himself, then he can get haste and first strike. So he basically just needs 2 or more. 2 besides himself, we'll say. Now, I do like that Kalliga used Dusk as part of the effect here because, as I imagine this is about to play out, he's probably going to show us 4 Dragoons. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This Wool is going to break. However, because she threw Dusk in there to help pay for him, now she's going to get to bring the Dusk back. I wonder. Oh, Kalliga, are you like 5 steps ahead of me? No, what are you doing? Oh, are you just going to Amaterasu this? Oh, okay. Interesting. Very interesting. I was wondering if maybe she would let the Wool die, bring back the Dusk, pay a water CP, and then, what's it called? And then, bring out a forward that way. But she pretty much anticipated that Dragoon was going to come down and try to break her forward. So she had the Amaterasu in the waiting. So just as a future heads up for some of our other new players to this game, technically, so once that Dragoon comes down and his effect goes on the stack, if you wish to cancel that with Amaterasu, let's see. Actually, I'm not sure about this rule because it's a when you, not an if you. I'm not sure if you actually have to cancel it prior to them showing or after. Although it's funny because people always, who cares about the showing, right? What does he have in his hand? A bunch of Dragoons. Wow, surprise, surprise. No one would have guessed that. So yeah, that's the thing. The showing aspect of that Dragoon is just totally who cares. Hey, guess what I have in this all Dragoon deck? A bunch of Dragoons in hand. But on that rule, I'm not 100% sure when Amaterasu has to interact with that on the stack. All right, we were able to get a 3rd backup down. That's quite nice. Still got 4 in hand. Good value, especially if that Alice can keep hitting for us. That's going to keep us nice and healthy. Kalliga right now sitting on 2 backups as well as 3 in hand. She's got the forward right now, so she can definitely go in and give him a little bop on the noggin. Here comes Warriors of Light. He's going to take his little stick and just go pop right into the damage zone. Hey, a non-Dragoon, I was going to say. Guess what? It'll be a Dragoon. It has a Scholar, actually. I guess people use this Scholar in combination with the Freya, because at first I didn't really see much of a use for it other than that 2C. Oh, no! Oh, we revealed Kadaj. Okay, see, that right there, I've considered putting Kadaj in my Dragoon deck because it's Kadaj, right? Best forward in the game? I think so. He's the best, if not one of the best. He's elusive. He can give the Dragoons Brave, which especially those really big beaters, that's awesome. Can junk your opponent's break zone. Man, oh man, does that feel bad to hit Kadaj off of Alice. Ouch. Now, granted, we do have things like Crow, so if he really wants to go get him back, he absolutely can. This is not the time to use Crow, but the line is there at least, but goodness me. That feels really bad. Lady Freya, here she comes. The Cherry Blossom herself. Always loved that move in Final Fantasy IX. Always really enjoyed using that Cherry Blossom. It wasn't called her Trance. What were her moves called? They were called like Dragon Powers or Dragon. I don't think it was Dragon Crest. I think that was her ultimate ability, but I can't remember like what it was defined as. But either way, Cherry Blossom is always neat, so it's cool that that special is named after that. Freya's coming in. She, of course, has haste and first strike. She's got no problem punching in. What are we hitting to damage? Soul! Ugh. Overcast, you hit our soul right into damage, sir. I can feel it leaving my body now. All right. Question now, he's got 5 in hand, so he could just end his turn. I don't know if he'll feel compelled to put anything else out right now. I feel like he'd probably just sit on it, right? Warriors of Light, probably. Nope. He says, sit on it. That's not how we do things. We're going to pitch us Dragoon. Play our little Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2 Dragoon. And he's going to just start building up as we get more and more Dragoons out here. It is very thematic that King of Burmecia can grab Freya. I do like that a lot. How come we don't have a Sir Fratley card yet? 9's, you know, we've had time. Where is he at? Give 9 some of that love. You don't need another 7 starter set. Give us a... I mean, 9 at least does have a starter set, but Sir Fratley, I want to see him. Where's he at? There we go. Boom. One of the best cards you can put down in Warriors of Light. This happy little Moogle is cheap, adorable, love its little outfit, and most importantly, it produces fire CP, which we are definitely going to want when we want to get our Ferris and our Aegis Soul, all these guys out there. Now the question is, does she go in with the wall, or does she leave him up with a blocker? He makes a pretty good blocker, because again, when he goes to the break zone, yep, she's just going to leave him as a blocker, and we're going to get to re-enter probably Dusk, I would imagine. Probably not the Warrior of Light, and who knows, she might, if she's got another one, something else in hand, she can pay 1 water CP and then let it come in. Oh no, are we doing Cherry Blossom? Or no, that's just what he revealed, okay. So we revealed a Freya off the Alice. That's great. More card value. More cards, more problems. I ain't got cards to solve them, baby. Let's see. A Cherry Blossom right now would only do 4K, so that would not be helpful. But we do know he's got it in his hand, so the threat is always there. Oh, man, we are coming in hot. We're going to dull 3 of our backups, pitch our Opus 2 Dragoon, this happy little fellow here, and we've got Behemoth K coming in. Kind of like the alternate Estinian, if you will. Well, I'm glad we're glad that this didn't get hit off of Alice and just thrown right into the damage zone. So he doesn't have haste yet, but Kalliga's going to have to be very careful because when he attacks, he's just going to deal a damage just for declaring it. And as big as Warriors of Light get, she might have some trouble getting big enough to successfully block that Behemoth K. So we'll see if she's got any tricks to respond to it right now. Opted not to attack with the Dragoon or the Freya. Could have party attacked. Probably wasn't a worth it trade, knowing the wall would go out. And there we go. There's Lady Ferris. Okay, now we have to be careful here because if she chooses the Behemoth K, it's going to break that Ferris. So Behemoth K really kind of puts a kink in Warrior of Light's play. She discarded Soul for, so we're going to guess Ferris said reduced by 2. Here comes Aegis. And then does she have a follow-up play off the Aegis for free? All right, so Ferris is going to go ahead and boop, bopple Freya there for 6,000 damage. It doesn't look like she had... Did she have a target for Aegis, or is he just coming in without anyone to bring in with him? Got a soul in the damage, a soul in the break zone. I wonder if she didn't have any targets for him. Yep, that's unfortunate because if we had a target for Aegis, we could have easily just taken out that Dragoon as well, which would have been nice. Our forwards will have Brave now, so that's pretty nice. Man, if we have like a Lunith in hand, or some other 3-cost or less Warrior of Light, would love to see a block with the Wool here, and then have the Dusk come back, trigger, bring us in another Warrior of Light, have Ferris just clean this board up. You probably, until you're ready to lose Ferris, I think you're okay just avoiding the Behemoth K. He is going to put some pressure on you, but your Warriors of Light are going to be brave. Yeah, I don't know. He's got a big hand now, too, and he just found that Barbara off the Alice, so... Gonna have to be careful how we play this. You also, maybe you bite the bullet. Maybe you just say, yep, Ferris, target the Behemoth K. Yeah, we'll lose Ferris, but at least we get him off the board. guy is scary once he starts attacking. Uh-oh, we've got Special Dragoon coming in. And we're going to show a Barbara, a Tactics Advance. RNA is ready to reload, and a Freya. That is going to be a break. Who will he choose for his target? Yeah, I assumed as much. Poor Ferris. It was nice to know you, but that Dragoon is going to say bye-bye. I was wondering if maybe we would have an Amaterasu in hand to cancel this Behemoth's ability, but I wonder if she maybe would have used it on the Dragoon then if she had it. Although if she does have it, it will cost her her entire hand. And, another one of these Tactics Advanced 2 Dragoons coming down. Oh boy, here comes the attack time. I'm kind of surprised he threw away the Barbara. I thought maybe he might consider going for an all-in play. Just put them all out there because, you know, Warriors Light isn't going to have a Shantota or anything in it. So here comes the Behemoth. It's going to attack. Its power level is going to get raised by 3,000 for some reason. I'm not sure why they thought it needed that. And then it's going to deal your opponent 1 point of damage just for simply declaring the attack. And then the question is, will we get a 2nd point of damage? Or will it be blocked? It's not on damage 5 yet, so it is okay to block it at this point. I mean, you're not going to knock it out, but you could technically block it. Looks like Kalliga will opt to defend with Wool here. So she is fine taking that, and I'm guessing that either Dusk or Soul is going to come out here. Would love to see Dusk, and I'd love to see her tap that Sarah to play out Lunith or something else for free. That would be really nice here. Because otherwise, she might be looking at a couple more points of damage. It is Dusk. Do we have something to play off of that entry effect? Ooh, is that a no? I'm not seeing the Sarah get tapped. Ooh, that is quite unfortunate. That would have been really nice. It's one of my favorite lines to do with that Light Wool into that Dusk. Bring it out of the break zone, tap that one back up I left up, and then you've got another surprise forward on the board. And again, if you have Ferris on the field too, and then you can just start going pew, 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 blasting down a bunch of these guys. Is going to swing in with another Dragoon. I don't think you want to trade with Aegis here, so I'm going to assume she's going to let it go through. Yep, let it go through. That's our 2nd soul. Man, they just... he keeps hitting our soul into the damage zone. That's harsh. And we're just going to pass there. New Dragoon's far too small to get through. It's looking a little rough for Warriors of Light. We're going to need some removal here. We can't let these Dragoons just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Because they are going to out-flood the board, especially with that Alice on board, drawing us potentially an extra card every turn. And as we all know, a lot of these Dragoons have haste or have access to haste, so you have to be careful. This is a big turn for Kalliga here. Pitch and a Dusk. Okay, there's the Lunith. Gonna tap our Minwoo and the Sarah. And pitch a Sage. What do we got? Ferris? No! Warrior of Light. Okay. Very interesting. So we had to dump our hand, but we have our Protector out. I love this guy. Oh, he was so hard to cut from my list because Warriors of Light just has so many light cards in it. It's hard to fit them all, but I'm so happy to see this guy here. So for those that don't know, he's going to reduce any damage dealt to any of the job Warriors of Light by 2,000, which makes these guys excellent blockers. And with Minwoo on board, it basically means a single one of them can just block all day long. So Dusk's going to go in, attack. He does have Brave. Yeah, so this is perfect because if he were to defend with this Dragoon, they're not going to trade. Dusk is only going to take 7,000 damage, which Minwoo's going to make fall off. Complete protection. What a surprise. A Dragoon into the damage zone. Who saw that coming? Let's see. Lunith and Warrior of Light. I feel like you probably... No, she's going to swing with the Aegis. Interesting. I was wondering if she wouldn't because Aegis is the strongest. But she does still have the Warrior of Light as well. So he'll make a good defender. Ooh, we got our new Opus 13 Dragoon there. That's exciting. You know, it's kind of weird to me that he has the effect first and then the keyword haste is like way down there at the bottom. Kind of... Normally you see like the keyword up top and then all the effect words after that. Okay, so... Dragoons are ready to rumble. There we go. We're going to reveal that backup Dragoon off of Alice. That feels great. That's exactly what you want to see. That's going to make our 2 frontline Dragoons, each 11,000 power. That is no joke. And we pretty much have a free turn here because Kalliga is completely tapped out of backups. She has nothing in hand, so... We know that, you know, she can't respond with anything. She has no tricks up her sleeve. This, what you see on the board is what you get here, folks. And, you know, Overcast is, I think he's pretty much presenting lethal right at this point. Surely he's got another Dragoon in there that has haste. If he really wants to, he can dull and break the Crow to dull the Warrior of Light. You can dull the Alice as well. Dull the Dusk. That's going to leave just Lunith on defense. We can fetch back that Barbara earlier, slam the Barbara down. Barbara will have haste. Any other Dragoons, he'll have haste. You know, you got to always be a little careful when you're going for those all-in plays, but I think it would be pretty safe here because, again, she has nothing in hand, no backup, so she has no tricks. So unless she gets some kind of EX burst, she's going to be toast. And looking through the break zone, there's not a single EX burst other than Aria, but that's not going to do anything. Drawn another, even if you drew another copy of Dusk, you know, you're not going to have the ability to pay for it. Hasn't hit a burst yet, so unless a burst somehow saved her, I mean, he would have a pretty easy lethal here if he wanted to. All right, we're going to drop Aranea, who's already a beefy 11,000 power. Aranea is going to get us back a 2-cost Lightning Forward. Is this where we go for that Knoll from earlier? Looks like it. I think he might be the only target. We could also get this little baby Dragoon, but I think you get the Knoll here, and you either give haste to Barbarisha. Oh, no. Let's see. Choose a Lightning Forward. Yeah, it counts as a Lightning Forward. Man, I would. Yeah, if you get the Knoll here, you just dull 2 of them, dull the other one with Crow, and then off. You're off to the races at that point. Interesting. I wonder why he went with this Dragoon. Okay, so this one doesn't inherently have haste. Can pay a lightning. So currently we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 attackers. Behemoth K is potentially good for 2 points of damage. We do have a bunch of blockers. And here comes Freya. Freya is ready to rumble. Are we going to see a Cherry Blossom here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 Dragoons on board, so we are looking at 12,000 damage. That'll get reduced by 2 to 10,000. I mean, it'll still be a board wipe. Even with our Protector, Warrior of Light out there, that's going to clear our opponent out. Oh my goodness. That's game, folks. Cherry Blossoms rain down from the sky. And just smother our opponent in beautiful, beautiful petals. I don't think any X-Burst can even stop it at this point. We've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attackers, including the Behemoth K is going to do 2 points of damage. That is going to be good game. Well, he didn't go for the line I thought, but hey, who needs that when you've got Cherry Blossom in hand and you can just do 12,000 damage to your opponent's board? That is going to be a GG and good night, folks. Dragoons putting on a clinic here with a little help from their friend Alice. Behemoth K is showing why this forward can certainly make an impact and strike when you're not expecting it. We will hit that Aria. Like I mentioned earlier, it is the 1 burst I've seen so far. Going to go fetch a soul. Unfortunately, that won't do anything for us, but might as well play it out legit, right? Here comes our Dragoon, and then the question is, who do we let finish it off, the Behemoth or the Freya? The funny thing is that the Behemoth attacks, she'll die before, yep, Behemoth will attack, will take damage just from the declaration. That's a GG. round 1 goes to Dragoons. Warriors of Light are going to need to step up their game. She's going to have to find a way to get around that Behemoth K. It might be worth it if you have enough power from Ferris to just hit it with the Ferris trigger. Yeah, you'll lose Ferris, which sucks because Ferris is so great in this deck, but that Ford's definitely a danger, and if we don't have any summon removal in our deck, we've got to find a way to just get it off the board and fast. All right, folks, we are on to game 2. Looks like Overcast is going to start us off. No immediate Alice this time, although we are discarding an Astinian as our very first card again. That's very appropriate. Poor Astinian, man. You love this guy, but you don't want to see him early. Like, dude, I need you like midway through the game. Maybe even just let me get a couple backups out. I mean, ideally you want 5 to get that haste, but I'm going to put down a 2 CP Scholar and pass to our opponent. Whoa, we've got a turn 1 Ferris coming out. Soul and Refia immediately getting discarded. Interesting. Well, obviously we have no forward for our opponent to use our damage dealing move on, so presumably we're going to reduce the cost of the next job, Warrior of Light, by 2. Do we have a Sarah backup to follow this up? That would be really nice. Get Ferris online immediately and then have that Sarah for 2 cheaper go fetch us out 2 more Warriors of Light we can follow up with. We have a Lebro in hand. Oh. That might have been a mistake. Okay, yep, we got it fixed there. Okay, yeah, she accidentally put the Warrior Light in the brakes. Oh, we have haste. Interesting. So Kalliga is just going all in here. Gonna get 2 forwards out right away. Haste. Going to give haste to our Light Warrior of Light. And she's gonna go right in and smack our opponent for a point of damage. There's a Dragoon backup, so that's one less one to worry about. Very interesting. So, interesting idea here. Normally, I like to get very set up with Warriors of Light, but after seeing what those Dragoons did last time and how quickly they just overwhelmed the board, Kalliga might very well just be thinking, look, I can't afford to just sit back and, you know, try to build up against these guys. They're going to get in my face, and especially seeing her opponent not start with Alice, she might be thinking, all right, I just got to get out there and just start, and I've got to beat them down before they beat me down. So we're going to see if this strategy works. The nice thing about having Ferris out is that unless our opponent deals with her pretty quickly, any forward they put down is at risk of Ferris getting blasted into another dimension by Ferris. All right, we are going to dull our Scholar, pitch our Aranea here. Aranea, why did I say it like that? Aranea. King of Burmecia. Going to go grab any Dragoon we want. I have a feeling we're going to grab that special Dragoon, and we're just going to threaten to break that. Yep, that's what I thought. We're not going to be able to drop it this turn. We're not going to have enough cards left in hand, but we are set up next turn to do that. We're just going to get a very quick answer to that Ferris, saying, nope, we are not letting that hang around. The good news is that Kalliga is set up to deal another 2 points of damage. A Moogle here would be great. I guess if we want to continue the aggression, a Soul would be great. Although again, we unfortunately don't have a lot to pressure off our Ferris triggers at the moment. Gonna go right into attack phase. Our Warrior of Light will hit first. Dragoon, what a surprise, and Ferris. Is it a Dragoon? Hey, look at that. A Dragoon. All 2-cost Dragoons. That's kind of funny. Different ones, too. 3 different 2-cost Dragoons. That's very amusing. Okay, Overcast is going to have 7 cards in hand. I'm going to guess we're just going to drop that Dragoon right away, break the Ferris, and then he himself is going to go in with haste. And Overcast probably doesn't feel too bad about that either. The Aranea is now already online, so if he draws Aranea at any point, assuming he can get some 2-cost Dragoons into the break zone and not damage, he's going to be able to pull it back. There's our Dragoon. We're going to show what we're working with. It's a Dragoon, a 3rd Dragoon, and guess what? Yeah, it's a 4th Dragoon. We already have the Cherry Blossom online. We've got 2 Freys in hand. That's pretty good. And we've got the Dragoon backup. That's quite nice. Ferris is going to go bye-bye. This Dragoon's going to go in and punch for a point of damage. And Kalliga, unfortunately, it was a nice try at that momentum, but it just got stalled quite quickly, so she's going to need to bounce back. Our opponent already has 2 backups down. They're going to have the haste threats with the Dragoons. this Warrior of Light, he can step as a blocker. He may need to do that because I don't think he can afford to just keep swinging in. If we can get an Aegis out, that'd be pretty nice. Keep him up for Brave. And here he comes. Swish. Shoom. Right in the gut. Oof. Man, that Sarah could have been nice. Bigger forwards. Play it on curve. I don't think it's too late to go into her backup lines. I think she's going to need it. It'll sting for a turn or two. If I were Kalliga here, again, not that I can see either of their hands, but just kind of guessing how this game might play out is, yep, we've got another Dragoon. You absolutely leave the Warrior of Light as a blocker here, force Overcast to party attack, and you've got to at least get a water backup down, whether it's Sarah, a Moogle, something. Like, get to at least 3 if you can, because otherwise, if you just keep jamming out forwards at this point, he's got the means to get over you, and you're just going to run out of CP super duper fast. So that's always the downside of these kind of aggression or aggro tricks, is that if they stall or they get blasted, then that really hurts. Okay, so we pitched a Dusk and a Warrior of Light. Interesting. I wonder what else we had in hand, because that Warrior of Light would have been a great one to come down off of the Aegis for free. I wonder if we had another light card in hand. That would have been really unfortunate. Yeah, that would be really bad timing. What if we have another copy of this Warrior of Light? Technically, we can use its special ability, Bitter End. The nice thing about Aegis is, again, it will give us Brave for this Warrior of Light. This is huge right now because it lets Kalliga keep putting on pressure without having to dull, because she absolutely needs this Warrior of Light up as a defender. But man, that's a real shame we weren't able to get this 2 cost. Oh, well, you know what? Actually, you can't because it's a name clash. That's why. I always forget that, even though I don't know why these two, I guess because one is light, one is fire, and, you know, there are different poses and different pictures. But I always kind of forget that these two are the same card. And this was another, when I was making my deck, another reason I cut this guy. As much as I love him and as much as it's nice this guy's special fodder, you know, they can't both be on the board at the same time. So there we are. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Would have loved to have seen a soul here with that Aegis. Why do I keep switching how I say it? Aegis. I think it's Aegis. I've technically never played the game, but I've always said it's Aegis, and then I've heard some people say Aegis, and so randomly they'll slip in, oh, Aegis. And here comes Alice. We're going to dull our King of Burmecia. We threw out the backup Dragoon and one of our Freyas, but Alice is immediately going to get us our little baby Dragoon for 2. And you know what that means. From every turn from now on, we're going to draw cards. Now, the nice thing is, if Overcast wants to attack here, they have to party attack. I don't think even the Scholar would matter. Let's see, he'll do 7, -2, do 5. This will just go to 1. Yeah, so the Scholar wouldn't be relevant. So if they want to get over this wall, they're going to have to party attack. This Warrior of Light is key. He is what's keeping her alive right now. The fact that he can reduce the damage they're going to receive, and the Aegis. This is a really good combination because that Brave is going to be here. Without the Brave, she can't pressure him back because she's just got a dull, and the Dragoons are going to swing right over it. Oh, looks like Overcast is not done yet. Is he thinking of just jamming out more Dragoons here? Interesting. Here's the Freya. Okay, so the Freya is going to boost our Dragoon. However, again, because of the Warrior Light ability, that Dragoon still isn't going to get over these forwards. So let's see which they've... No attack. Overcast decides to leave them up. Now, the nice thing is, though, too, without a booster, and this is really why we'd love to see our Sarah here, that Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced 2 Dragoon can completely block this right now. Yeah, it won't kill the Warrior of Light or Aegis, but it says, hey, you're not getting through for damage. Kalliga's going to have to do something, but we've only got 3 cards in hand, so what do we got? We're going to pitch a Minwu, and we're playing Lunith. There we go. Like, ask and you shall receive. We need a booster, we got a booster. Kalliga's all in at this point. At this point, you're pretty much done with backups. You just pitched one of the water backups you got, so at this point it's just like pedal to the metal. Let's see if we can finish him off before we get finished off. There's a null into damage. Do we pressure with the Aegis here? We are. We're going to pressure with the Aegis. Interesting. A little risky putting our opponent to 6, because that's going to put that Behemoth K online as well as that Aranea. If Aranea comes down, every single forward on the board will have haste, which, ironically enough, is a little bit redundant in Dragoons because because Barbara basically makes them all have haste anyway, but it will help for any of our off Dragoons, such as if a Null were to come down, or we saw Kadaj in there in the last game. Kadaj could come down. And it looks like Overcast is not wanting to go to that 6, does not want to be put that close to being finished off. He's going to block that Aegis. He'll go down. Oh, and Kalliga even putting the damage marker on here. I don't think it'll matter with only one card in hand for each person, but went ahead and put it on there anyway. Now, that Luneth was very timely. We absolutely needed that 1,000 more power to get over these guys. Okay, we need to get a Dragoon off this Alice. I mean, we don't need to, but every little... Oh, oh, we got a Dragoon all right. We got our special Dragoon. You know what that means. Oh, but actually it doesn't matter because we won't have enough to reveal for the break. So as good as that hit was, it currently doesn't matter. None of these backups can be broken to get another Dragoon unless he's got something crazy in his hand that like allows him to play a card and yet get a bunch back, which I don't see happening. We cannot use that Dragoon's break this turn. So we have to at least wait a turn. Is that going to be enough? We're going to have 3 attackers next turn. Luneth is only 7, however. This is a kind of a point you'd really want one of those backup Dragoons down. It could fetch one for you from the break zone. It would give this Dragoon bigger power so he can start blocking some of these guys. Interesting. I mean, at this point... So this is a good question. What do you do here? If you think you can survive a turn, I think you just hold on to your hand because you want to be able to drop that Dragoon next turn, get the break, and you're basically guaranteed to win at that point. However, if you don't make it to that turn, if our opponent finishes us off on the next turn, then that won't matter. We are tapping 3, so let's see what we're going to do here. Just go. Oh, is this going to be Behemoth? We're at 5. Oh, boy, and we're at 5 damage. My goodness. So this Behemoth K will have haste. However, good news for Kalliga, she's only on 1 damage. So honestly, yes, his attack will do 2 damage guaranteed because if they even block it, it's going to kill it. I don't think you do block it. I don't think you risk losing anything. I think you let them dull this Behemoth K, and that way you've just got that many less people to get over next round. He's going to put 3 damage on you, but you don't want to lose any forage to this guy right now, so absolutely you let him do his thing. All right, here we go. Behemoth K coming in. We are going to get, boom, a point of damage for the attack declaration. Boom, a point of damage for actually going through. You know, seeing the light wall there is actually a pretty good hit for Kalliga because that was just going to junk up her hand. She doesn't have Cosmos. She can't put it out anyway. And yeah, the Dusk is hard to say. We don't have the water CP to do its trigger effect, most likely, because whatever water CP we have, we probably are going to have to pitch that. For the Dusk, we would, yeah, there's no way we would have enough to do that. So for Kalliga, those really weren't too bad hits. It's going to kind of depend what we draw here. If we can get any kind of removal here, knock one of these guys out of the way, we can take this game. Removal, who needs it when we've got a haster? That's what we needed. Another body who can attack. Here we go, baby. With only 2 in hands, and I know how Dragoons work. I don't think most of them don't run any summons. I think we might be looking at lethal here, folks. Here comes Soul. He's swinging in for 5k. Unless it's 2 in hand. If it's Cherry Blossom, maybe that's the one thing that saves us, is if we have that Cherry Blossom. We did throw out a Freya earlier. These decks usually run several Freya, so it's quite possible. Has more. We've got 1. Nope. Where that's going to go to a point of damage. That's 6. Who's coming in next? Light Wall's coming in next. I mean, the Cherry Blossom only hits for, what, 4k here? And it's going to get reduced. So actually, even if they have the Cherry Blossom, it doesn't matter. It's not going to do anything. It's not enough to finish them off. Folks, I think we're looking at a game here. There goes the block with Freya. Freya does have first strike. No, and no Cherry Blossom. That's going to be it. Lunith is going to come in. He's going to knock this last Dragoon out of the way. Aegis, our man of the hour, with his Brave, letting Warriors alike come in. And wow, the aggression pays off for Kalliga. 100%. Warriors Elite are going to take this one. There's one of the few bursts we have in our deck, our last-minute King of Burmecia. Great tactics there by Kalliga. You never know about those aggression plays will they pay off, but that Lunith was so timely with the power boost. The Aegis, even though we didn't get the play off of it, just the Brave is what let us keep pushing that aggression. And then this Warrior of Light just giving us that damage protection. Fantastic. Folks, we're going to Game 3. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game 3. Overcast decided to mulligan his hand. Kalliga decided to stick with what they had. Kalliga, I wonder if she's going to go for that aggression again. We saw it pay off the first time, and she might just be thinking, we're going to go for it a second time. Let's see. We're pitching Arya, we're pitching Soul. Going to start with our Sarah. Okay, so very similar opening. If not, was this the exact opening of the first game? I remember the Arya getting pitched. I don't remember if the other one was Soul, but we're going to get our Sarah down. Very obvious she values this power boost. Gosh, such a beautiful card. I love the artwork on this. It's so good. And the full art's so nice, too. Man. Great artwork by, is that Toshitaka Matsuda? Is the one who did this one, I believe. Okay, so Overcast. Looking back on that last game, if Overcast had gotten Alice down sooner, and assuming we'd gotten a few successful Alice hits, I think that game might have gone in their favor, because when they drew that special Dragoon for the break, they most likely would have had enough cards in hand to use that special, or to use that break effect. For the first time, we are not pitching Estinian for our first card. We're going to pitch Barbara. What are we starting off with another Scholar? Starting off easy? He's kind of hesitating now, so he's not sure. Pitch the Barbara. Pitch the Dragoon. We are going into King of Burmecia first and foremost. Gonna get a job Dragoon. I wonder if we get our special one here. It's what he's favored both other times. Are we still favoring that and just holding it in reserve? Because we know we want to break whatever fort our opponent's going to put down. Yep. We have a 100% pick rate on our special Dragoon here. And I can't say I disagree. Aranea, you really want to come down later at damage 3. It's way too early for Estinian. And he gives us our most value. Again, it wasn't just the backup Dragoon. This Dragoon, too, has made Dragoon such a force to be reckoned with in Opus 12. And, yeah, he's kind of your ideal candidate for getting an early card. We are pitching Ifrit and Refia. Putting down Arya 3. I wonder if we had a second copy of her in hand all along, so we had no issue throwing that one out. Arya 3 is going to fetch our best Warrior of Light gal. That's Ferris. And we are set up on 2 backups for our next turn, ready to play down that Ferris if we need to. Really would like to see some fire CP come out for our backup line, but beyond that, it's looking good. And we got to be careful because we know our opponent's got that special Dragoon, so it's very possible Ferris won't be long for this world, but we got to get as much value out of her as we can. All right, it's Dragoon's turn to be aggressive. We are dulling our king. We are pitching a Freya, and here comes the other Freya. She's got haste. She's going to go right in and just give our warriors a light up. Stabbing right on the noggin there. Flip a Sildra into damage, so we won't be searching anytime soon. At least not with that copy of it. 5 in hand. Does Overcast play out more here? Nope. He says, hey, I need to keep a big hand for this break Dragoon. I really needed that last time. I'm planning to keep it this time. While also putting a little pressure on him. Now it's Kalliga's chance to respond. Kalliga has 5 in hand, which is nice to see. She's been playing out pretty heavily these last 2 games, and she's got a stockpile here. If she's got a way to get fire CP down, the Moogle would be great. A Ford with haste. The Sage wouldn't be bad either. Would love to see her go to 4. You love to see that ever-elusive Cosmos, if it ever shows up. Anytime you get that card where you're like, yes, Cosmos, got it. Slam it down, but sometimes it just hides and hides and hides. All right, we are going to drop Ferris. Are we going for 2 cheaper here? Or are we going to just try and ping off this Freya? All right, we opted to make 2 cheaper. We pitched Soul for Aegis. Are we going to drop another Soul? Do we have another one in hand? I'm assuming she chose to ping Freya for 4,000 damage, but we'll need a follow-up. Tell me that last card. No, nothing. Again, and she pitched the soul. That's so strange. Man, is she just getting light locked right now? So let's see if she had that. Because if she's getting light locked, that's really unfortunate because then she had no choice but to pitch the soul in order to get the Aegis out there. But yeah, if this is a light card, that's really unfortunate. I know I've run into that a lot with Warriors of Light. So the good news is Aegis will give Ferris Brave. The bad news is I don't think Ferris is going to survive this turn. I'm almost positive. Unless Overcast drew Alice here, and he opts to put the Alice down, I have a feeling that our special Dragoon is going to come down and just say, Ferris, goodbye. Now, who knows? He might even opt to get rid of the Aegis, just so that way the Brave doesn't exist anymore. Yep, there he is. We've got 5 in hand. This is going to be an easy reveal. Got our Dragoon back up. Got our Freya. Got 2 copies of Freya. We've got cherry blossoms for days, folks. And Ferris is going goodbye. Unfortunately, Ferris is just never going to last long against these Dragoons deck. Warriors of Light are well equipped to handle any kind of damage coming their way between the Light Warrior of Light as well as the Minwu, but straight break effects, we've just got nothing to deal with them right now. Now the good news is, unless he wants to party attack with the Ferris and the Dragoon, he's not getting in for damage, but that's probably worth it for him. He doesn't even take in a single point yet. I probably would party attack here. Yeah, Freya will lose the first strike, but it doesn't matter. Kalliga should definitely not take this. She should not block. You can't lose Aegis because you're only going to get rid of one of these guys. Party Swing coming in for 12,000 power. She's absolutely going to let the go through. There's a Refia. Wouldn't have minded seeing that for a little power boost, but... And then we know Overcast has that Dragoon back up in hand. Does he play it? I don't think that's a bad idea, especially knowing we have that Tactics Advanced Dragoon in hand as well. We could easily play that on curve next turn, which looks like that's what we're going to do. No! Overcast is throwing away the Dragoon back up to just play this one straight out. Very interesting. Yeah, so I definitely would have pitched one of those other Dragoons we saw earlier, set the backup down, and that way we're set to play this guy on curve next turn. There's really no reason to push here, unless, now granted, what Overcast might be thinking is that, hey, I don't want this Aegis to get in any damage. That's how I lost last time, was early damage, so I'm just going to put this Dragoon here that says, if you want to trade, I'm going to get the better value of that, so. Although, given that Kalliga is behind on damage, I don't think she'd push with this Aegis anyway, but depends what we get here. And here we go. We got that combo again. Aegis of Warrior of Light. So now Aegis says, all right, well, if you want to step in front of me, I will gladly trade because I'm going to come out on top now. And that's kind of why I didn't like this play, because this is all it takes was just anything to just disrupt that. There wasn't really, there just wasn't a reason to push our board, because we're now either going to just lose this forward for nothing, or we're going to take a single point of damage, which we would have taken anyway. So Alice flipped into the damage zone. That's not good. That's a card we definitely wanted to see. That might be a huge hit for Kalliga here. If she can keep Dragoons off of that extra value every turn, might be her way to pull ahead in this game. We're going to tap King of Burmecia for a single CP, but hey, that's all we need when we've got our original Tactics Advanced Dragoon coming down. We've got a little bookend here. We got Tactics Advance 2 and then the original Tactics Advance. And this guy is going to get 1 cheaper for every Dragoon on the field. We had 3. Shame he doesn't become 0, but that's okay. Tap a backup, get down a forward. That does not feel too bad. And so currently, if we were to do a Cherry Blossom, Freya is threatening 2,000 times 4. We've got 8,000 damage total, which of course would be reduced by 2 for our Light Warrior of Light. We're going to go to the attack phase. Now this Dragoon is strong enough by himself to swing over this Warrior of Light. So I'm going to guess we'll see a party attack between these two, and then we're probably going to see a single attack from this Dragoon. Here comes the party power. Do you think Freya and the Dragoon like hold hands? They go, here we go, power of friendship. And They just go both swinging in with their lances. And that's it. We didn't swing with this Dragoon. Very interesting. We will take a Lebro into damage. Now, granted, this Dragoon is big enough now as a blocker that unless Kalliga has a way to get it out of the way, can't actually swing in against it. So it's most likely why we left it up. So the question is, did Kalliga draw anything that we can knock this guy out of the way? And really the most effective way to do that is if we can get Ferris out here or something, and then we actually want to ping off probably the Freya, get rid of the threat of that Cherry Blossom, and that is also just naturally going to weaken this Dragoon. So I don't think you try to take this guy out with his 11,000 power. Let's pick off some of these weaklings, and then that's just going to make him weaker by happenstance. All right, so we are electing to curve out into some backups. We threw out a Dusk and Ifrit. We're going to tap 2, and we are going to put down our Sarah. Sarah from Opus 12. We're going to get to grab 2 more Warriors of Light. We will grab a Warrior of Light that will feed into Bitter End if we so wish to use that. Going to grab 2 copies of that. Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, I have to imagine she's planning to use this special then. Enters the attack phase, dulls the Warrior of Light, discards 1, is going to use Bitter End. And the question is who our target is going to be here. I didn't see an attack declared, so I'm going to guess that Kalliga doesn't quite know how that interaction works. So we'll definitely have to catch her up to speed on that one, because we could have gotten an attack out of this. Who are we going to take out here? Is it going to be the Freya? Yeah, she just doesn't even want to have to deal with that. With the Cherry Blossom. Just says, nope, get it off the field now. I don't think you respond with this because it's not going to kill anybody, yeah. So you just let it go. And it did shrink that other Dragoon, which is nice. And then she's going to just pass turn. Unfortunately, even with 3 backups down here, Kalliga's absolutely still starved on fire CP. So any of these new forwards she gets, she's going to have a really tough time playing. And that Ifrit, we had what? Dusk, Ifrit, and the Sarah enhanced. I mean, we couldn't even cast this Ifrit. It was just basically a dead card in our hand. Overcast is set up pretty well here. Kalliga is starting to stabilize with backups, so I think he kind of wants to go in and just try to finish this off if he's able to. If he's got Behemoth K here and can haste it somehow, or if there's a way to dull the Aegis out of the way, get 1 more haster, whatever it is, he's still going to have to rely on the party attack. But Kalliga is also down to 0 cards in hand, so I don't think there's a whole lot of pressure to really force it at this point. And really, Kalliga's really struggling for that fire CP, so even if she draws Ferris on her next turn, she has to draw a fire card as well, otherwise she can't even use her. And then once she does that, she's going to have to go for that 6k ping because she'll have no other cards to play. So unfortunately, with very little resources, she's in a pretty tough spot. She's just going to have to rely on this Aegis and this Wool to see if they can just hold the line for her. And there's Freya coming right back to the field. Says, oh, did you think I was gone for long? Yeah, I don't think so. I wonder if we have a Cherry Blossom in hand here. See how many Freyas we've thrown away. We currently have 1, 2, 3 in the break zone. Not sure how many Overcast runs total, but Cherry Blossom would basically guarantee that all these guys can swing in 1 by 1, not have to worry about anything. Here comes our party attack. And he's just going to let this through. Arya is still the only burst I've seen in this deck, so I don't think we can really rely on burst to save us. Yep, there's another Lebro. End phase, interesting. Still opting to not attack with this Dragoon, knowing that, again, as long as they don't get rid of one of these other ones, leaving it as a blocker. I think I would have rather liked to have seen Overcast push there. Push your opponent to 5 damage, keep them down, because you're only on 1 damage. Like, what are they going to do to swing back? Even if they swing back and hit you, who cares? Set you up to 3. You're now set up for your RNA play. Can bring something back in. So I think it's difficult to see how Kalliga is going to pull back into this game, but If they do, well, there's another bitter end. Did we have another light copy? We did. We're going to break the Freya again. This Dragoon's going to shrink again. It's just like a repeat of last time. Yeah, we'll definitely have to let Kalliga know about being able to stack that with the attack because the Warrior of Light has Brave. I don't think she knows about that, but that's okay. We'll get her informed after the game. And yeah, it feels like a repeat of the last turn. Oh, this time we were able to pay for it a little more efficiently, just tapping a single backup. So we're going to get to keep that card in hand, which is nice. Uh-oh, it's the game ender himself, Mr. Kadaj. And I think this is going to be over right here, folks. Kadaj is going to come in, just dull ages out of the way. It says, oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to participate? I'm the best card in the game. Dragoon's going to swing in. There's 5. We're about to hit 6, and that is going to be GG. Well played, folks. Dragoons pulling it off in the end, even with that Kadaj fella certainly doesn't look like a Dragoon, but he did what he had to do in the end. So that is GG. Well played to our participants. Thanks for watching. Well done, everyone. See you next time.